like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
Good evening and welcome to No Judgment here. I am your host, Tish Ross. Tonight we are talking about being bullied. This is by no means something that is easy to talk about, whether you are the parent of the child that is being bullied or you are the child that is being bullied. Parents, this show is probably one of the most important shows you will be a part of as a viewer, listener, and these parents here speakers. Bullying has reached just an all-time high, unfortunately. The definition of bully, there were many, but the one that I found is one who is habitually cruel, insulting, threatening to others that are weaker, smaller, or in some way they feel are vulnerable. These kids are tormented by the neighborhood bully in school and outside of school. The statistics on bullying and suicide, unfortunately, are extremely alarming. Suicide is the third leading cause of death among young people, resulting in about 4,400 deaths per year, according to the CDC. For every suicide among young people, there are at least 100 suicide attempts. Over 14% of high school students have considered suicide, and almost 7% have attempted it. 10 to 14-year-old girls may be even at a higher risk for suicide, according to the study above. And according to statistics reported by ABC News, nearly 30% of students are either bullies or victims of bullying. And 160,000 kids may stay at home from school every day because of fear of bullying. Some things that you want to look for, parents, some warning signs of suicide can include showing signs of depression like ongoing sadness, withdrawal from others, losing interest in favorite activities, or trouble sleeping and eating, talking about or showing an interest in death or dying, engaging in dangerous or harmful activities, including reckless behavior, substance abuse, or self-harm, giving away favorite possessions and saying goodbye to people, saying or expressing things that they can't handle anymore, making comments that things would just be better without them. Some schools or regions have more serious problems with bullying and suicide related to bullying. This may be due to an excessive problem with bullying at the school. It can also be related to the tendencies of students who are exposed to suicide to consider it themselves. All right. So I first and foremost want to thank the parents that are here today. I know that this is extremely difficult to discuss and talk about because I, as a parent myself, had two children that were bullied. My daughter, who is now 22, almost quit school her senior year because of being bullied. It started her junior year and it just worsened throughout her senior year. But we made it. We made it. But every year I feel like our times are changing, the schools are changing, and I don't want to get into a big, it's not political. I don't want to say that it's political. I'm sure there are some political aspects in school, things that go on in school, but what I want to talk about is what we are experiencing today, what these three parents are experiencing, their personal experiences as well as my own, and what their children are going through now. And if you are listening, I have one parent that feels like she has done and she has tried, done everything that she can to help protect her daughter. And now she's at the end of her rope. Like she just does not know what to do. So I even was researching bullying.org, some things that you could do there. And, but they're all basic sort of the directions and the actions that you have taken, Alexis. I want to introduce my guests or have them introduce themselves. Actually, we're going to talk to our parents first, and we have two brave young girls here as well to discuss what they are going through. And I really thank you, especially you young ladies coming today. We're going to start with our parents first, and I'll start right here to my right. Introduce yourself and explain a little about your experience with your child and the bullying.
I'm Tisha. My daughter is 14 and goes to Burleson. She dealt with a child that told another child, not directly to my daughter, that she wanted to lure my daughter into a field and stab her with a screwdriver. She was suspended for 30 days, but now walks the hall with my daughter. So she's back.
But as a parent, when you hear that your daughter is being threatened and being like, how long has this been going on? Do you know how long it's been going on? And then as a parent, when you hear that your child is being threatened with a screwdriver, be stabbed, taken to a field. I mean, there have been recent stories like on 2020 and Dateline that had this very thing happen to a young lady. She thought she was best friends with two of the girls, and next thing you know, they lure her out to this field, and she's no longer here. So, how long has this been going on?
This happened in the fall, I believe. I remember the phone call. I thought my daughter was getting in trouble, and then I just felt hopeless when they told me what happened, because my daughter is very trusting. She knows danger is there, but she doesn't understand that it could happen to her. So in a screwdriver, how many people have screwdrivers in their garage and would notice one missing and then lure my daughter into a field? It's a doable thing. And so that it really scared me, and I felt hopeless, and I didn't know how to go about, and I felt alone. Like I didn't know.
And so what steps as a mama did you take when you first heard about this? I mean, I know, as a parent myself of two kids that went through school, we hear of the initial, okay, someone's picking on me or whatnot. And then I know that, I talk to my children and, walk away, and, you better not be the first punch, but make sure that you're the last, and, but the other is, you want them to be equipped to make sure that they're defending and taking care of themselves. But so how did you try to explain bullying to your daughter?
I just try to tell her that not everybody is her friend, because with Emma, she doesn't realize that she thinks if you walk the hallways and you just say hi to her, that you're automatically her friend. So I try to explain that not everybody's their friend, that it's there and things could happen to her. And I don't think she really understood that still, because she was like, well, maybe she's talking about another kid. And I was like, nope, she's talking about you. She wanted to stab you. So I pretty much I was like, do you have a death wish? Like, you stay away from this girl. Because at this point, she was still in the school until they decided to suspend her. So it was just hard to explain to her, because she has different mental things that she's mentally, her best friend's like 9 years old and she's 14. So it kind of tells you where she's at. So she doesn't really understand.
Which is even worse
Yeah.
for someone to be bullying someone because of a special need, or because of a disability or learning disability, or whatever
Yeah.
the situation. I mean, because we're all different, whether it's a special need, whether it's a learning disability, whatever, race, color, religion, whatever. So the fact that they are even bullying her.
Well, see, they bullied her because Emma sees black and white. And if you look like a girl, you must be a girl. And this child got mad because Emma, I guess, called her or a girl. And that's what started it all, is because Emma sees her as a girl, called her a girl, and that lit the flame under this child that was like, but she doesn't, she knows people are different, and I tell them to respect their differences. If they want to be gay, that's great. Like them where they're at and be their friends and help them. I was like, you can be friends with everybody and not judge them, because it's not your place to judge them. So I know she wasn't doing it out of hate, oh, you want to be a boy, so I'm going to call you a girl. That wasn't the case. It's just, that's how Emma's mind works. And I never knew to teach her any different.
And so you started a group. You started a group, and there are parents, moms and dads, or is it just moms? Or
I think there's one dad. I'm pretty certain. There may be more, but I think there's one dad on there.
And tell us about the group.
Well, I created it because at the time I felt really alone, and then I saw on an email a Nextdoor post, and I never get on the Nextdoor app. But it said my daughter's school, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna jump on and see what's going on. I try to stay in the loop of what's going on at my daughter's school. And that's when I saw that there was a huge bullying problem. And so my thinking was, well, if I felt alone, so do these other parents. And I wanted to bring us all together, because we're louder in numbers than just me going on the street saying, hey, bullying's happening. Nobody's going to listen to me. But we're louder in numbers. And so I was like, if I start a group, then that would be great.
And do you have a lot of parents? Have you noticed a lot of parents that have children that are being bullied, or even parents that are supporting because they believe in the cause of trying to get some help with what's going on?
Honestly, it's probably about 50-50. I have parents reaching out to me that their child committed suicide or thought about it. And one parent that just recently realized that their child was being bullied and had no clue. So yeah, I get messages all the time. Like,
Man.
yeah.
And so the parent of the child that recently lost their life or took their life due to bullying, did they give any advice or anything that they are feeling or going through? Anything that you can say, permission?
I don't really have permission right
Okay,
now. So
okay,
I
okay.
kind of want to respect them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry for their loss if they're listening. And can people find you on Facebook? People that are
Yes. they
okay.
can.
And what's the name of the Facebook page group?
Burleson Moms Against Bullying.
Okay, first moms gets bullying, and dads can join it as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
I didn't think ahead.
Yeah,
when I
no,
named
it's
it.
fine. No. I think you and Alexis met through this group, and we're going to hear Alexis' story here in a minute. And so I thank you for starting this.
And they also don't have to be in Burleson.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
again, I didn't think ahead.
No, that's
No.
great. That's great. Good deal. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what's going on.
My name is Alexis, and my daughter is 12 years old, and she goes to a middle school here in Burleson. And, well, we're new to Texas, so I haven't even been here a year. So she was, just started 7th grade, and probably about the first week into school, she started, I guess, kids started commenting about how she looks or, making fun of her. And I didn't like brush it off, I guess. I just told her, look, kids are mean and they're just jealous. And I thought it was just going to resolve itself after a while. And it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse every single week. It was something new. And one of her bullies actually put his hands around her throat and shoved her into a closet in their classroom. And that was probably one of the first incidents that was like, okay, what is going on?
Sorry.
That's okay. And after that boy did that to her, she went and made an incident report. And I think according to Haley, nothing ever happened to that boy. Like, he didn't get in trouble for doing what he did. So that was pretty shocking to me. And nothing really stopped there. The group kept growing of bullies, and I believe there's 10 now? 10 total just for her. And it just kept escalating all throughout the school year to the point I was having to go and pick her up from school because they were threatening to jump her. I'm going to beat, your ass. And then they started cyberbullying her. After I pulled her out of school.
And so you had to pull her out of school?
Yeah.
For her safety?
Yeah.
For
her safety, because a few days before I pulled her out, there was an incident where one of her other bullies wanted to fight her, got in her face, and then the other bullies were like surrounding her. And thank goodness the teacher was there and walked in and separated it, because had the teacher not would have been there, they definitely would have jumped her. Yeah.
And so and again, we're not making this political, or we're talking about your experience and what you as a parent have tried to do. So you've contacted the school that she attends. You've you've chatted with people, even superintendents. I mean, you even thought, or did you go to the police as well?
I did. I did.
And the bullying is still going on, or would have still be going on had she not been removed from school. But is the cyberbullying still happening?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so how do you, I know that we chatted before, and as a parent, it makes you feel hopeless. And even during our pre-interview, you even said that your husband even said, maybe we should just move.
Yeah.
And to me, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah, me and my husband were both thinking about it, because it's what do I do? Do I need to move out of the district, like move to a new city to get her out of this district because I wasn't getting anywhere with anybody. You know, they kept telling me, oh, we're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of it. And they never took care of anything ever. And so that's super frustrating because, I mean, you know, I'm sure people are like, oh, just send her to another school. Well, unfortunately, the other middle school is not any better. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
And so kind of like we were talking about, the first time she came and she was, Haley was telling you that, you know, kids are saying things and whatnot, and that was my point earlier. I'm ADD, so I kind of got off of that. But, you know, we as parents don't want to be that parent that goes right in the very first time and say, okay, you guys need to chill out and watch my child. Then it happens again, and then it happens again and again and again. And did you notice, I guess before, I mean, of course we take everything that our children say seriously, but did you notice anything in terms of signs of being bullied besides her coming and telling you? Did you notice anything in regards to her grades, her demeanor?
Yeah, her grades started failing. She went from a straight A student to a failing student within a few months because of everything that was happening at school. You know, I was having to keep her home. I've kept her home because I was scared to send her to school because, like, I told her school, like, you can't keep my child safe. You know?
And as a parent, and our children are at school the majority of the day. I mean, and again, I'm not saying anything about anything. I'm talking about we entrust our children to the school, everything school, from teachers to principals to vice principals, superintendents. We entrust our children. And I know that it's not just you parents that are here that are dealing with this situation. One, because I have now joined the bullying group that Tish has, and there are tons of comments. I even went through some of them today. The other is I have chatted today with so many parents because I knew that we were going to be discussing this today. And the other is people have already been messaging me, asking me, are you going to have somebody representing, you know, this district? Do you have anybody coming from this district? And had they asked me these questions prior to today, I'm sure we would have had a lot more parents come in. The other is parents back down or back out of attending things like this because it's frightening. We as parents love our children, and we do not want to cause any additional hurt or shame or harm or bring any potential anything to our kids. And so some parents feel like coming on here and saying something could very well do that. And that's sad and unfortunate too. And so where are you at now? Haley's at home.
She is at home. She wants to go back to school. Honestly, I don't know what we're going to do. It's not fair to her.
Right.
It's not fair that I had to pull my daughter out because they weren't doing anything about these bullies. And it's not fair. So right now she's being homeschooled, but, you know, she doesn't like it. She wanted to go to athletics next year. And if I don't put her back in, then she can't do that.
And as a parent, it is very frustrating. And as a parent, it's very hard to be put in that position because, you know, you're worried about your child. We are worried about our children. Do we send them to school because they want to go back to school? Do we keep them home where they're equally as frustrated and down? What do we do if we feel like we have gone and we've spoken with everyone in an authoritative position, and it seems like there are still multiple events happening in terms of her being bullied, and What is a parent to do? So if those of you that are listening, I'm getting ready to move to my next parent, but those of you that are joining us, if you have any experiences like this and you want to give us a call here at the radio station, please feel free to do so. Or if you have any comments, or if you have any advice for a parent that has, feels like she has done everything that she possibly can and just does not know which way to turn, please post those in the comments. I'm watching the comments as we go. And I want to move to my next parent, and introduce yourself and explain a little bit about your situation.
My name is Jenna, and my daughter is 12, and she goes to one of the middle schools here in Burleson. The bullying started at the beginning of the year. She ended up getting her hair, dyed pink or purple for the summer. And when she went to school, kids were asking her if she was a lesbian over and over. And every day she'd come home and she's like, I don't know why they're asking me this, Mom. And everybody else has colored hair. And I just asked her, is everybody else calling, the other kids that? And she said, no. It got so bad. She came home crying one day and she begged me to dye her hair brown because she was tired of being called a lesbian. And so as a mom, I tell her, just ignore it. They're just rude. Middle school's one of the toughest parts of, growing up. And so, with her wishes, I went ahead and just dyed her hair brown. And I told her, you shouldn't change who you are because someone doesn't like what you look like. It's really unfair. And so she and I we dyed the hair, and she was crying while I was dyeing it brown, and I felt so bad. But, we had to do what we had to do, if it made her feel better. And then, that kind of calmed down, and she was doing fine. And then I want to say probably around January, when her friend was getting bullied, she was getting bullied at the same time. And I think it's because they're friends. She's been called fat. She's been called ugly. She was threatened to have her stomach stomped in to make her skinny. And it's awful because I feel like they were, wrangling in other kids that had nothing to do with anything. So the group just got bigger and bigger and more out of control. And then it came to another girl that was in one of her classes. She walks home the same way my daughter does. So my daughter's like, Mom, I try to get ahead, or I try to wait until she leaves because I'm afraid she's going to beat me up. And this girl apparently threw her backpack off on the track or something and threatened to fight her right then and there. And she doesn't understand why, and my daughter's the type of girl that, in her world, she wishes everybody would, get along and be friends. But, sadly, that's, reality is that's not how it is. Not everybody's going to like you.
This just breaks my heart. It does. It really does, because I'm thinking of all the things. First and foremost, a child wants to dye their hair, pink, and it's a color that she wants to dye her hair. And then she goes to school and is made fun of because of that. And other kids have their hairs, different colors. And the fact that she would love for this world to be, everyone in school to get along. And so what is a parent to do? Tell me, Jenna, what things have you tried to do in terms of maybe getting the bullying to stop? Or, I know that bullying it's going to be everywhere. We'll never put a complete 100% stop to it. But how did you help her handle that?
Well, first there was another boy. He was calling her a cracker because she looks white, but really she's half. And she would tell him that, and she would come home and get upset. I said, sometimes you have to come up with a good comeback, you got to practice that a little bit. And then from there, the bullying was getting worse. And so I went to the school. I emailed teachers. I spoke to one of the assistant principals, and they always just left me with, we're going to investigate it. And then they left it at that. And so while they were investigating, my daughter is getting ill. She's throwing up every day before she goes to school. She's nauseous all day long. She's crying before she has to go to school the next day. Like, she's terrified to go to school because these girls are threatening to beat her up, you know? And I work in healthcare. I can't leave work all the time to go pick my daughter up just because the school doesn't want to take care of the problem. And so, you know, I don't know what else to do. And I took her out of school because I was at a loss, because I tried to talk to the principal. She was never available. Alexis and I both went to the district and tried to, you know, get help.
We're going to come back and continue to talk with you, Jenna, and then we'll have the girls join us. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Accelerated Graphics and Signs, 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Signs can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson in Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
We are back. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 days a year on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, go to tuneinjoco.com and download the free app. All of our shows can also be found on any one of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and Spreaker. You can also find us on YouTube. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844.tex.hail or 844-839-4245. Thank you, Patriot Claims, for sponsoring our show. We are back, and we're getting ready to chat with the girls here in just a minute, but I wanted to finish speaking with Jenna, and I'm also going to ask you guys a question, almost play devil's advocate, just because I heard some different perspectives today, okay, and just get your thoughts about it. But so my daughter as well, Jenna, when she was in elementary, 6th grade, almost going to 7th, she too was throwing up every single day. And at first I thought, oh, she's just like, the first time she threw up, I thought, oh, you're sick, I'm going to keep you home. And then sick again the next day, and so thinking she had the flu or whatnot. But then it was something that was continuous, and it to this day, unfortunately, there are days and she has anxiety. But what was going on then is that she was being bullied, and I didn't know about it. And I'm going to ask the girls here in a minute if they came directly to their parents, or was it something that you tried to handle yourselves? My daughter tried to handle it at first by herself, and sometimes she felt like coming to me, who loves her and protects her, that coming to me that I would go to the school or I would try to contact the parent. And when that happened, she said, it'll be worse. You're going to make it worse if you call this person's parent. And I was thinking, what the hell? Like, somebody needs to do something.
Right.
And this parent needs to know what her child is doing to my daughter.
Exactly.
But my daughter, I just listened to her, and I didn't do what I wanted to do, which was call the parent, because I didn't want to make it worse. But then it's like, well, what do you do?
Right.
And so when you noticed that Rebecca was, oh, someone is calling. Hold on just a second. We have a call. Thank you for calling Joco Community Radio. You are live. How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I was calling to speak on the bullying and kind of share our story and give some feedback on what we've done.
Absolutely. Please do.
Are you there?
Yes, please
Yes.
share. Yes.
So I'd rather kind of stay anonymous.
Sure.
It is not the same district that you guys are speaking about now, but we have had some bullying issues since the beginning of school. And like these ladies, I have done almost everything to my wits' end to try to help. I share the frustration, I share the sadness and the overwhelming feelings of trying not to be able to do anything for my child. But I can honestly say that we did get finally in the last month or so got some traction, but I just want to share what we did.
Please. I know these
And
parents
what we
really need to
finally
know.
ended up doing that is seemed to actually get some traction with making an improvement with what was going on. So like these ladies, we escalated to the school. I actually got the direct email for the assistant principal who was in charge of taking the statements. Our child was actually assaulted 4 different times, physically assaulted. One ended in a concussion. He was bruised and hit. One of the instances I actually saw with my own eyes in the car line and actually jumped out of my car to help him and call a teacher over, which kind of embarrassed him even more because it's like, oh, mommy's coming to the rescue. We presented at the school board with a group of individuals and put out a survey on our own in the city so that we could get more traction and try to cast a wider net of like bringing a spotlight on the bullying issues that were happening in our community. Like Tisha mentioned, I had a couple of parents that actually had children that committed suicide. They came and spoke with us at this board meeting. We then filed grievances against the school, and you'd have to look at your district policies, but we filed a grievance against the school to state, like, you know, we've done everything that we can. We've had multiple communications with you. This continues to happen. This continues to be issues. Please help us. And I was literally at his school once a week. I have a full-time job. It was taken away from that. Just very overwhelming. But we ended up, and this is, I think, where it started to see traction. I ended up calling the Johnson County Police Department and raising an issue there. They kind of pushed back and said, hey, this is out of our jurisdiction, but I demanded for assistance. So they were able to reach out to the local school district police department and had the chief of police step in. It is when he stepped in, started doing investigations with these children that were picking on my kid, where we started to see change. And it took us going over and beyond and having a person in uniform sit down with these children and saying, look, this is a big deal. You've got to stop. If you don't, there is going to be action. We were going to start suing the parents of these individuals because they wouldn't stop. And I swear it's like a light bulb moment where from day to day, it just completely went silent. Like he was able to start going to school and be productive again. And it again was night and day for us. So I urge you to get law enforcement involved. I think that when children have someone in a uniform sitting in front of them, investigating them and asking questions about what they're doing in their daily actions, it is a little different than a school administrator sitting there asking questions and doing that. So that is what helped us. I also just want to, before I drop and go, wanted to also give you another, like, my son wasn't coming to me, but I saw a major shift in his behavior. He was acting out, he was yelling, he was crying, he was emotional, and it was all over the spectrum. And it took me sitting down with him and begging him to tell me what was going on in his life, like what is going on at school, and just being there for him day after day, asking for him to open up to me. He finally started doing so. And now when he gets home from school, that's the first thing he gets in the car. I ask him, okay, how was your day? And the first answer is, oh, it was good. Okay, tell me more. Like, what happened in this period? Did you have anybody that approached you to say something? Like, just sitting down and having conversation with him day after day. And yes, that's also what helped kind of open those lines of communication with him.
Wow, I so appreciate you calling and sharing your story. And I'm so sorry for your son, your family. I'm sorry for every child that is bullied. I mean, to be assaulted, it is physical, it's verbal, it's emotional, I mean, it's mental. And I know that these moms appreciate you calling and giving us the advice that you did. And I'm sorry for the experience you have. And your son, is he back in school? And
he is. We never took him out. However, I still do pick him up very early from the car line. So I actually take off at work a little early so I can be there and be one of the first individuals in line to pick him up. And yeah, I mean, we still take precautions, and we actually worked with the administration to make sure that he's standing in view of a camera at all times, just in case he has to protect himself and something happens. They
wow.
told us where the cameras are so he can stand there to wait. It's crazy. It's crazy that we even have to do that.
Yeah.
But if it came to the point where he has to physically protect himself, I want him to be able to know that there is video footage proving that he didn't hit first and he is protecting himself.
Wow.
So I was also going to ask Tish if, like, this is not just a Burleson issue. I think it is a whole Johnson County issue. And if we can update the page and spread it and join forces across Johnson County, it is definitely an issue that I think that more moms and more families and more parents just need to come together so that we can bring light and start addressing it as a community instead of just district by district, because in order to move change.
Absolutely. And so the name of your Facebook page again?
Burleson Moms Against Bullying. And
Okay.
I did look into changing the title. It's not giving me the option. I think you have to reach over 100 before you can change.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh my goodness, caller, thank you so much for your input, and I hope that you will go and find the Burleson Moms Against Bullying Facebook page and join, and that way you and Tish can join forces together. I mean, it is not just an individual parents crusade that we're on. I mean, whether you have children or not, I mean, I think we should all band together, and it's going to take all of us to do this. So thank you so much for your advice. I appreciate you calling.
No, thank you for having the show. It's so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
So Jenna, when, like I said, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. I spoke with some people, and then I want to get with the girls because we have like 15 minutes. I spoke with some parents who, a couple of them said that what if the child that's being bullied, what if they are the common denominator? Every parent, because we were having this conversation, and one of the things they said was every parent thinks that their child is, oh, my child wouldn't do that. But then you see children, and this is a different subject, but then you see those children that they say, well, my child would never do that, on drugs, alcohol, skipping school, doing stuff they're not supposed to do. What if could it be the child that's being bullied could be that they are the common denominator or not. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, you know, we never want to think of, and my children included, and I drive that question back to myself with my daughter. And of course, are our children perfect? No, and no parent in here is saying that they are. But even if they're not, even though they are not, and I'll speak of my daughter. Let's say she has a little bit of feist in her, and maybe she has tried to take up for herself by mouthing. There's still no child in this world that deserves to be tormented the way that these kids have, the way that any child that's ever been bullied has. There is no child, no special needs, no whatever the reason is, no child deserves to be scared of for their life to have to go to school, and no parent deserves to have to leave and go pick their child up early because of the fear, to have cameras placed on their child so that their child will be able to prove that someone else hit them first because they're defending themselves, to have a child have to go to counseling and was a straight A student and now they're going to counseling or having to be placed on medication. I mean, so I guess I answer that myself in that it doesn't matter. I don't think, and if that were the case, I'm sure that if the schools and people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, then that would come to light. Okay, I want to chat with the girls. And I want to thank you, parents, for coming. We may have a part 2 because I feel like we still have so much to talk about. And Tish, I'm going to get you to give your headphones to Rebecca. So I want to welcome 2 of the girls. Super brave for coming on. We have Haley, who is Alexis's daughter. And we have Rebecca, and she is Jenna's daughter. Thank you, girls, for coming on. Haley, I want to talk to you first. I want to ask you. Actually, I'm going to ask both of you the same question. But did you go to your mom or your parents the very first time this bullying started?
Actually did not, because in the very beginning, I thought that it was just mean girls being mean. So I thought everything would resolve itself. So I tried just ignoring them, but it was getting way worse with the comments. And then they started threatening to beat me up, and it's a whole group of them. So me against 10 of them isn't good odds.
Right.
And a lot of times I would end up starting to cry at school and stuff because I was so scared, or the comments, because comments are just comments, but at the same time, it goes on every day and it still hurts. So I did not come to my mom until they started threatening me, because that's when I was most scared, because it's honestly really difficult to deal with a problem that it's not really in your grasp. And I've went to the principal, all the administrators in the office. I've made more than 7 incident reports trying to resolve it, but they wouldn't do anything.
And you are very smart and articulate and beautiful. And how do you feel now about not being in school? I mean, I know the odds. Do you think, well, if I go back to school, I'm going to have to face these bullies, or do I stay at home and I want to be at school? Tell me your feelings on those 2 things.
So I know being bullied is like a big situation, and I know people have different perspectives on it. But my main thing is that I love school, and there's so many things that I want to do in my life, and schooling has to come with that. And I love being in school. I love my teachers. I love my friends. School is like one of my favorite things. And it really just hurts that I can't go anymore, because it's either I sit there and deal with being scared and having to stay around teachers at all times and having to leave my classes early and missing my work and not being able to get it done, or I stay home, and even if I stay home, I'm still getting cyberbullied by them, saying that they're going to find my address and beat me up and all this other stuff. So to be honest, I really think it's a 50-50, and no matter what I do, they're still going to come at me.
That breaks my heart. I am going to get it together. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry that's happening to you. I'm going to turn now to Rebecca. And Rebecca, tell me how you are feeling and how you are dealing with, you are also been pulled out of school. Tell me about how your bullying started.
Like, I guess all from the dyed hair, to them calling me emo and just saying I look like the trolls from a movie. I did come to my mother as soon as it happened because, you know, I used to go to this old district where they did make fun of me. So that kind of just reminded me of that. So I did go straight to my mother about it. Honestly, it was just the name calling at first. And then after that, it started to progress to threatening and stomping my stomach in so that I lose weight.
And wow. Why did you guys want parents? Why did you agree to come on and share your story?
Because it's important. This is a huge issue, not in our district, but in surrounding counties also. And we want a change. Like, I want to change. I should be able to send my daughter to school and not worry every day for her safety, or when I'm going to get the call that, hey, your daughter got the crap beat out of her and she's on her way to the hospital. So I agreed to come on, and I started this page with Tish because we want change. Like, we don't care if we have to go all the way up to the top. There's going to be a change because these kids deserve it.
They do.
They deserve it.
They do deserve the education that they want, and they both so want to participate in what everybody else is participating in. And you know, like Haley said so beautifully, that things that she wants to do in school, and you have to be in school to be able to do some of the things that she wants to do, like athletics and things like that. And Jenna, tell me, and I'm sure you'll be in agreement with Alexis, but tell me why you wanted to come on and share.
Because when my daughter started telling me she was getting bullied, I kind of felt alone. Like, you know, is it just my kid? Like, you know, because nobody really talks about it. You know, parents don't talk about it. And, you know, when I realized that it was her friends being bullied, and knowing how Alexis felt, and just realizing, okay, well, I'm not alone. I have somebody with me, you know? And then when we did post those posts on Nextdoor, our eyes were open so big.
I've heard so many stories that are just so heartbreaking, and it's like, and stories that happened in our district, and it's unbelievable. Like, I cannot even believe that this is allowed to even go on. Like, these are kids, these are children. It's sad.
It is. It is sad. And Haley, do you have friends at school? I'm sure you do. You have some friends at school. And are they being bullied as well because they're your friend, or because y'all are a group, or because whatever?
Basically, my school is just full of bullying. I mean, I had a friend that was starting to harm herself because she was getting bullied and she didn't like her appearance when she was honestly beautiful. And then I had another friend, because she was friends with me, she started getting harassed and then threatened to be beat up. And she was scared, and she was crying all the time because she was scared. And I felt truly bad when I had to be pulled out, because I was like, I can't be there for her anymore. Because me and her used to stick together the whole time. So, like, if they ended up beating us up, we would try to protect each other or even help. But now I'm not there, and I'm worried about her, because in our fourth period, we have about 8 of them in that class. So we would have to stay by the teachers 24/7, leave classes early, be escorted to the bathrooms because they would wait in the hallways for us. They would leave class to walk in the hallways to try to find us.
There's no way out, or
No.
nowhere for you to go, nowhere to hide.
And no matter how many times I talked to any administrator, any teacher, anything, there was no change. They would act like I was the instigator to all of it. And they were basically punishing me by me losing my work time to work on my lessons and stuff, and having to escort everywhere I go instead of the bullies having to be escorted.
Gotcha. So they were handling you as opposed to handling bullies. They were escorting you and talking to you and not the bullies. Have you guys reached out to the bullies' parents?
The day I actually pulled Haley out, the principal asked me, well, would you like, or I said, I would like to speak to the parents of one of her bullies. And the principal said, well, I could give them a call and see if, they'll want to talk to you, because I could legally press charges against their son. And I didn't want to do that. He's a 12-year-old boy, So the principal was supposed to do that, and I never heard anything back, which doesn't surprise me, honestly.
And that's so sad.
It is.
That is
but,
so freaking sad.
You just can't get anywhere. Like, you could call, and you don't get anywhere.
And did you, Jenna, did you speak with any of Rebecca's bullies' parents?
No. I asked also when I went down there back in January to speak to, do the parents know? And they wouldn't even let me know that. They would not even tell me if the parents knew. And then, like what she was saying, they're trying to pinpoint the instigator. Our kids are from Virginia, so they're trying to group them together and put the blame on them because they came from Virginia. We've been here for 6 years. I mean, I'm from Texas, so we had moved to Virginia. I came back home 6 years ago. And so she just came. So one of the assistant principals spent more of her time investigating our girls and us as parents than she did the bullies in the situation. So nothing was getting resolved because she was too focused on blaming our kids.
Before we go, Rebecca and Haley. Rebecca, what would you tell a child, a friend, a student? What kind of advice can you give someone that's being bullied right now the way that you were? What can they do?
I would try to definitely tell an administrator, but as our school, nothing happened. Tell your parents definitely, because this is a really serious situation. Definitely tell your parents. Try to ignore as best as you can. And I know it's hard, but you have to try, and try not to throw the first punch because it's hard again. So I would definitely recommend to tell your parents and do everything that you can.
And do you want to be back in school?
I do. There were dance tryouts today, and I really wanted to do that because dance has always been in my life. Definitely basketball. I wanted to do that, join athletics, but being pulled out kind of just ruined it all.
Yeah.
And it's not like anybody's fault. It's just being pulled out.
Yeah. You're precious. What would you like to tell anybody that is going through this? What kind of advice can you give them, Haley?
Just ignore them the best that you can, because no matter what people say about you, they're always going to say something. They're always going to have something to say about your appearance or how you act. But in the long run, it's not going to matter because you have to do you. And second, don't ever harm yourself or try to kill yourself, because that's never the option to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, beautiful girls, for coming on. Parents, thank you guys so very much for coming on and sharing. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week.